What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Rampage Rap-Up live on the True Heel Heat Twitch channel. If you are not already a subscriber, please subscribe to our Twitch channel. We are growing every day. We also have our YouTube channel where we have even more shows and content, and our Patreon. $3 a month is the entry-level tier. We also have THH Sports, where we talk about basketball, football, baseball, boxing, UFC. We just had a UFC and boxing stream last night that Romeo was on. But here today, we're here to talk about Rampage, AEW Rampage, that is. And I am not alone when I'm here to talk about Rampage. As always, I am joined by my co-host, the True Draw, Josh. Josh, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing fine. Got to meet Claudio today, so
very nice. That's awesome.
Good. Yeah, it's a good Sunday.
Yeah, how did he? I saw he posted your artwork to his story. How do you like that?
I mean, it's always good. I mean, I've had it a few times from a bunch of wrestlers, but it's always a good feeling just because it just shows that I'm doing something right.
Yeah, it is always it's got to be just great. Like, you show them your artwork and they just get blown away by it, and they show it on their story. That's really cool, man. Every time you post about that stuff, I always like it because it's just great to have those kind of interactions, and those are the kind of interactions that we want to have with you guys. So make sure you leave comments in our comment section, letting us know your thoughts on this week's episode of Rampage. And this week's episode was from Minneapolis in the Target Center. And we started off really hot with none other than the American Dragon himself, Bryan Danielson, coming to the ring to let us know that it was a very good promo from Bryan, talking about how he loves professional wrestling, and one day he may leave wrestling, but he's never going to leave wrestling on his own accord. It's going to have to be because somebody else takes him out almost, and that's queuing up Daniel Garcia, who comes out and lets Bryan know that, ahead of their 2 out of 3 falls match next week, that he is the Dragon Slayer. And watching Bryan, it sometimes makes him sad because he sees what Bryan was, he sees what he's become in Garcia's eyes, and he's not a fan of it. He wants Bryan to either get back to what he was or to hang his boots up. And Bryan does not appreciate that, especially when Garcia says that Bryan will acknowledge him as the greatest technical sports entertainer of all time. Bryan says that, and this was something I was thinking about when this feud started, because I was there in Chicago when Bryan had this conversation with Moxley. He was saying one of the first names he brought up when he was talking about the Blackpool Combat Club that they could pair up with each other was Daniel Garcia. And Bryan brings that up, and says you can either be the greatest sports technical sports entertainer of all time, or you can be the greatest technical wrestler of all time. And he says that sports entertainment sounds like a bunch of bullshit to him. And what I liked about the promo and the exchange was both men really stood their ground, and Garcia was left in the ring just standing there looking at himself like, man, do I want to be the greatest technical sports entertainer of all time or the greatest technical wrestler of all time? And it's the first kind of cracks or chinks in the armor of the Jericho Appreciation Society, which really added a level to this promo. And I thought that it was really good because Garcia is the guy who could easily be breaking off from this group and being the first kind of guy to leave Jericho Appreciation Society. So this is it's a 2 out of 3 falls match. It was a great promo for it, but I thought that it was a greater part of the story between BCC and JAS. How'd you feel about the promo, Josh?
I thought it was pretty good. I think Garcia's kind of getting better at his promos. I think it was something that he needed to be in this group. It's kind of showing that he's kind of developing a gimmick, a character. So overall, it was good.
Yeah. After this, we have a fellow JAS member, or I guess members, in the newly married Ty Conti, well, Ty Mello now, and Sammy Guevara. I'm still trying to figure out why they didn't just go for Sammy and Ty Guevara for her ring name, but I mean, Mello is the maiden name, so I guess she wanted to go back to that. But they are going to be defending the AAA mixed tag titles against Dante Martin and Sky Blue. This is kind of a little mini feud, mini storyline was started a couple weeks ago, and this match is now taking place with them with the titles on the line. And it was kind of interesting to me because we had seen not too long ago Sammy and Dante, and they had a pretty good match, high levels of athleticism between the two of them. So a part of me wanted to see more of the same. But what they went for in this match was a little bit more of Ty versus Sky in this match. And I thought it was kind of cool to, kind of subvert the kind of expectations here and just give us something different, because we kind of know what we're going to get with Dante and Sammy, but adding in Sky and Ty into the mix is a pretty cool wrinkle. And throughout the course of this match, Ty is going to frustrate Dante and help Sammy frustrate Dante, and Sky just doesn't seem to know sometimes when she needs to get in the ring and help Dante out, give him a helping hand. But this match overall, I thought, did a pretty good job for what it was going for. We had some great spots in it where Ty hits a kind of a Rana into a DDT on Dante. We have Sky hitting a Rana on Sammy. We have Dante using Ty as a springboard to attack Sammy. We have I thought the spot where Sammy and Ty are standing outside the ring and Dante goes for that suicide dive was really well done, just because of how Dante needed to get higher in order to make sure he cleared over Ty, who was standing in front of Sammy and had to duck out of the way. But overall, I thought it was a pretty good match, pretty solid opener for Rampage. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was all right. Nothing too crazy for me. I'm just glad it kind of wasn't a squash match.
Yeah,
that's all I was wondering. But overall, it was decent. Nothing too crazy. Nothing bad, nothing crazy. So passable.
Yeah, it was one of those matches where you just there was no real the titles were never in danger. I don't think anybody thought that Dante and Sky were going to pick up the win in this match. So it was like, all right, we gotta let's have the match, but there's no heat behind it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, pretty much. That's how I felt. So that's why I was like, hey, as long as they didn't get squashed, I guess that's that's a moral victory right there.
Yeah, and it's the second longest match of the night. After this, we get a promo from Death Triangle, Lucha Brothers. Well, they're missing Pac, but they're talking about how they will be in full force when they are in these trio titles tournament. But issues between them and Andrade and Rush are not over. But next week they will, or I don't know if it's next week, or it might be on Rampage next week. They're going to be getting reinforcements as Pac shows up as they advance further in the tournament. It's kind of funny that, a lot of people, we all kind of have the trios titles pegged for the elite, but Death Triangle are a team that were really high up in that consideration for who could be either trios champions or get very far in the tournament. And it seems as though now with Pac having that title at All Atlantic Championship, I don't know how far they're going to get in the tournament itself. What do you think of their chances?
I think they lose in the first round.
Yeah, it's a little kind of anticlimactic because of how Death Triangle was originally presented and just where they are now. They're up against United Empire, and
no, wait, no, I take that back. I think they win.
You think they beat United Empire?
Yeah, I think United Empire is probably Jarrett's job.
Interesting, because a lot of people are looking for that trios fight between potentially returning Kenny Omega and the Bucks, who could get past LFI and to face off against Ospreay and United Empire to tease that Ospreay and Omega.
Oh wait, match. Yeah. Well, that kind of makes more sense, I guess. It's just if I was gonna do that, I mean, I kind of probably wouldn't have it. I probably wouldn't do it like in the trios scenario, but if it happens, it happens. I wouldn't mind it.
Yeah, we have a comment here going back to the Bryan promo. Golden KOR says, "Do any of you two see Bryan Danielson holding the AEW World Title before he hangs it up in AEW?" I think they're gonna do it. I think they have to, right? Like that's got to be even if it's a short run, even if it's like a full gear to begin to like maybe some kind of Dynamite special in March. Even if it's something as short as that, I feel like they're gonna have. I feel like Tony's gonna give Bryan a run.
What's the guy talking about? What is he talking about? The last comment.
Yeah. Well, he had a previous comment saying, "Hope he can make you will make him some loot this NFL season." I don't know who that person is. So
I mean, I don't even know what's that about. And then he kind of, I guess, last comment kind of commented again.
Yeah,
using my initials. I'm like, what is he talking about?
I mean, if it wasn't for the JM Punk reference, he could have been talking about me. We both have JM initials. But
I don't know.
But about Danielson, what do you think about his chances with the world title run?
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna eventually happen. It's just a matter of when. I mean, me personally, I don't think he signs with AEW just to not be champion.
Yeah.
So he said, "Get back so you change your mind." I mean, I could do that whatever I want.
Oh, NFL, you all said
get back. He said what? But I'm not on it. I don't know what he's talking about me.
Yeah.
I'm not one of the hosts on that show. Like what? I don't think you want to listen to me, pal. You're gonna lose money.
So yeah, let's move onwards to our our next match of the night, which was a glorified squash, if anything. We have Parker Boudreaux taking on Sonny Kiss in a minute-long match, and
yo, I'm just laughing because I'm like, I already know where this is going, like the match, and it's like what happens at the end.
Yeah,
it's just weird as fuck. So
yeah,
that's why I'm just like laughing already.
Yeah, it's like they basically, I mean, if you guys, we'll get to it, but they kind of, to me, like when it was happening, it kind of felt like a weird take on that first Dynamite when they had Cody and Sammy in the opening match, and then Sammy shows up in the main event. I was like, this feels like just a discount, great value version of that, and it wasn't even the same exact setup, but it just felt like a horrible knockoff. But what do you think about AEW's version of Brock Lesnar?
Oh, this guy. I mean,
those are all the comparisons.
Well, I mean, there's only the comparison because of it's a comparison because of Paul Heyman. Just remember, like, Paul Heyman was the one that said that this kid is going to be the next Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
So like that's the I mean, it's kind of unfair to the guy because now he kind of has to, like, set that bar high because of that. But I mean, he looked decent. He kind of looked better than he did in NXT, which, I mean, is a small sample size, so I can't be too critical. But
right.
He looks better. He moved better. And they end up signing him too. They put the official graphics, so he's officially AEW. So hopefully he learns. Hopefully he learns a lot from there. I guess whatever type of issue he had in WWE, hopefully it doesn't happen with AEW. And I think part of it happened too is because everyone's being signed back. Like everybody's going back, so I think it was a potential of, oh shit, we've been using this guy. He's a part of a stable. Let's sign him now before Triple H naps him back up. So I mean, who knows, man? I think the kid has potential. The ceiling is high for him. All he has to do is just keep working hard, and then go from there.
Yeah, they did have some very high hopes for him in NXT, and it seemed as though he had some issues with learning or taking the WWE style. So hopefully, yeah, he will be able to figure some things out. Rules are rules, Josh. I got to do this. Thanks for the super chat donation. He's a JM Punk fan.
I have no idea why. I was playing.
But yeah. So after this, we have another exchange, another backstage promo segment where Andrade is talking to Private Party and they're then Butcher and Blade, and he's introducing them all to Roosh. And Roosh is just like, oh, okay, nice to meet you, Butcher. Nice to meet you, Blade. I don't like these Private Party guys. And he doesn't there's no explanation why. Just doesn't like the look of them. And they Private Party have their own issues with Andrade because they're saying Andrade has not really believed in them, but they are going to turn that around next week when they are having some matches with our tag team champions, Swerve and Our Glory. Andrade, meanwhile, is focusing on those trios title, and he just ends the conversation with those tag titles. You work for me. I want them. I was really hoping, I think both of us were really hoping that with Roosh coming over full-time with AEW, we were going to just get, even if it was just a quiet disbandment of the Andrade family office. I think we all really wanted that. But it looks as though Tony Khan wants to drag this out a little while longer. What do you think about them keeping with the Andrade family office going when it feels as though they should just be ending this?
I don't know. I guess they just want to give them something. I can't really explain it, but honestly, I thought it was already over, so I was kind of surprised. I was like, "What?" So
yeah, I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me. But after this, we have our next match of the night, which is seeing the Gun Club taking on Beardhausen, Eric Redbeard, and Danhausen. This match, where is my... Did it not? We'll go with this one. There's some issues here with continuing issues between Billy Gunn and his sons. Billy Gunn had talked about how he had gotten them this match to get them out of their funk after being in the dumpster and being down in the dumps after being thrown into those dumpsters by the Acclaimed in that dumpster match. And the Gun Club here are answering by just taking the fight to Danhausen and Eric Redbeard. They obviously are having issues with trying to take down Redbeard, and he is trying to do his best to keep Danhausen alive, because whenever Danhausen's in the ring, he is kind of an easy target. Throughout the course of this match, they are really kind of trying to isolate Danhausen, keep him away from Redbeard, and Redbeard actually doesn't see that much time in this match. Through some Gun Club shenanigans, they are going to pull off the win in this match. And one of the things that I thought was hilarious was that Billy Gunn had no issue trying to cheat to win against attacking Redbeard, but he would not interfere with Danhausen. There's just a little bit of too much respect, apparently, that Billy Gunn has for Danhausen. After the match,
Respected. He wasn't trying to get cursed by Danhausen. That's all it was.
I mean, it's. I guess we'll say fear, maybe not respect. So a healthy level of fear. After the match, Billy Gunn is saying, this is good, but it's not good enough. You're not proving yourselves. So I'm gonna get you another tag match for you guys to be able to prove yourselves. And the ass boys are just like, we don't know what's going on with our dad. What is happening here? Why is he doing this to us? Yeah, we lost that dumpster match. I guess Billy is just really upset, like he said on Dynamite, that they lost at the one match that he made famous. And as the two of them are leaving the ring, Stokely Hathaway is there yet again, recruiting for his mysterious stable that he is slowly building, and he tries to give them his business card yet again. It looks as though the Gun Club may sooner rather than later be joining up with old Stokely, and Stokely is building quite a roster for this faction. So I wanted to get your thoughts on the match itself. I mean, we got an Eric Redbeard sighting in AEW, and also on the faction that Stokely is building, because it seems week by week he's trying to add more and more people to this faction.
Yeah, the match was all right. I think the right team won in this scenario. I like the fact that they had, like what you said, that Billy Gunn was scared of Danhausen. But as for this so-called faction, I don't know. Like, I kind of don't feel like it's gonna be a faction. I think it's more like a I think he's kind of, to me, the vibes that I'm getting is kind of more like an agency kind of thing.
Yeah,
like he's being like an agent, and then he's just he's getting clients. Because honestly, if you do a giant stable, you're just falling back to the same thing that Matt Hardy did, and I really don't want that for Stokely. Because I think he's better in that situation, as in like need to be around people that need to talk, that they need a mouthpiece and stuff like that. So I think in a situation like this, I want to see where it goes before anything, but it kind of feels more like a agent client kind of vibe, more so than like building a stable. Because the people he's recruiting or is trying to, none of them, there's no connection to none of that. So I don't know, like Ass Boys with Lee Moriarty. That's a weird combo to me. So I don't know.
Yeah, it is to your point. Nobody that he has tried to recruit has been involved in anything for anybody else. Like, we haven't seen Ethan show up to do anything involving the baddies. And now, granted, it's early days. Ethan just joined the group, or his management team, we'll call it. So there may be something down the road where Ethan does get involved. But right now, he is kind of siloing people, and it's just so I like how you're saying it, of it's more of just a representation kind of thing, because it adds something that we haven't seen really in AEW, of not a faction but a collective kind of thing, where it's just they all are listening to one person, but he's not using them as a group, because sometimes the factions in AEW, they do get watered down by having a lot of people in there that don't need to be in there. Like, one of the drawbacks for me of Hardy Family Office and then Andrade was the fact that the majority of the faction was 2 tag teams. So how do you have 2 tag teams chasing for tag team?
The same title.
Prioritize. Who do you prioritize?
Chasing the same title, and they're just like adding them. It just didn't make any sense. Like more so like having Private Party was fine just because they were with Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy's being their mentor, but all of a sudden when you throw in like Butcher and Blade, it was just random. Like, it just became a little too much. It became driven away from what Matt Hardy was doing, because I actually was fine with like his gimmick, but once they started adding more people, that's where it kind of fell off for me. So it's just one of those things that I hope that's not what they're doing with Stokely. I hope they're not doing that. I think like what I said, like the idea that I have a feeling, I just hope they go more that direction. I think it's a unique situation if they were to go that direction. Kind of you treat it more like sports, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Kind of like a sports thing. Like you have it. You have a collective of wrestlers under one agency. I think that would be a lot nicer idea for that.
So Stokely is going to turn into your favorite agent, Scott Boras.
Probably. I mean, hey, people don't like Scott Boras. I don't mind Scott Boras because I understand his take. He's in a position where he wants to get the most money as possible because the players that get the most money, he's getting a bigger percentage of that. So
right.
I can't really knock his hustle. I know some people don't like it, but I mean, hey, he gets the big clients for a reason. So
that is true. That is true. After this, we have some words from Swerve in Our Glory. And they're trying to. My biggest takeaway from this is that Keith Lee again brought up the fact that they have not faced ranked competition, and the fact that he's bringing it up again either makes me a little concerned that. Let me start with this. That it makes me think that they are going to very soon be facing ranked competition, or it makes me concerned that they have not already faced ranked competition, because we have seen some title reigns kind of have some of the luster being pulled from it because the champions have not had the greatest of opponents. Somebody like a Hangman Adam Page comes to mind with some of his opponents not always being ranked or just quickly shooting up rankings in order to be relevant contenders, or him just accepting matches and accepting challenges. Thunder Rosa's reign also comes to mind, where she has not always had the greatest of opponents when it comes to the ranking system. So I was wondering your thoughts, not necessarily on the tag title run of Keith Lee and Swerve, but generally speaking, how do you feel about how AEW uses their ranking systems?
It's kind of I know it's one of those things that I know a lot of people want to use their ranking systems more in regards to having the next opponent to face, but honestly, I think if you do that, you kind of you'll burn out some of the matches out quick like that. So I kind of understand why they do what they do, because it's kind of like the UFC, right? So like the UFC, when they have like their title matches, they usually go for like the number one contender who's being ranked number one within that division, the number 2, number 3, number 4. So then you have somebody like Usman, who's been beating everybody in the welterweight division. At that point, there's no point of having a top 5 because he's beating everybody. So in a sense, I kind of understand why AEW does it. They kind of stretch it out, but then also I had to see the list. I had to see who's like top 5 in the rankings for like the tag team.
Let me tell you, I can get that information for you right now.
Because then I have a better idea of like, hey, this is why they're not. To me, it will make more sense if I know that too.
Yeah. So as of August 10th, a couple days ago, the number 1 contenders are FTR.
Which that's obvious. That's obvious, but they have 2 titles as well, so they necessarily don't need to face Keith Lee and Swerve for the titles. So that's fine. You see that's an example right there. They're fine. You don't need that match right now.
Then we have the former champions, the Young Bucks,
which they lost. They literally just lost their titles. So you're again.
number 3 are Evil Uno and number 10 from the Dark Order.
And it's like maybe with them you can, but then they're about to depending on who's going to be in the trios tournament, you can't use them either.
Right.
You can't use them either, so you don't know who's going to be there.
Then we have, coming off of their win from the dumpster match, the Acclaimed.
Which you could go for that, but then at the same time, Acclaim is building up. They're building up some steam. They're top baby faces now, so you want to stay away from that.
And the last ranked team are the Best Friends.
Best Friends. seeing that's another one. Like you're gonna use them, right? You're gonna have them in a title match. Now what's gonna happen? They're gonna lose. Then you're gonna have. Then what's the point? So
See, sometimes I think it'd be cool because I understand with a pay per view they're trying to load up as much as they can match wise,
yeah,
like grudge match wise. But I think sometimes on Dynamite it would work for them if they said, hey, this is the number 2 ranked team versus the number 4 ranked team, and the winners will face
more
the number
so.
1
You
ranked
see
team.
like
So,
that.
yeah.
Yeah. So something like that would make more sense. Like I actually like that idea.
In particular, it's a little frustrating right now because FTR is the number 1 contender. But if they were like, let's say, for example, they were to face the Acclaimed, but Tony wants to get to Swerve versus Acclaimed, he would have to have Acclaimed beat FTR, or in some weird way, he would have to have FTR lose in some form or fashion to have them drop down in the rankings.
Which would
But
be.
the problem is any team that pins FTR should be in line for an ROH title shot or a AAA title shot.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but exactly. And that would be the problem. They can't lose. That's the problem. They can't lose. Yeah. They can't lose. So that's like, that's
so you gotta distract them by, what we saw on Dynamite with Wardlow coming out, them coming out to help Wardlow against Jay and Sanjay and Satnam. So yeah, particularly in the tag division, because they have those titles, it's an interesting kind of albatross around the neck of the division for how to book it. So yeah, it's a pretty intriguing.
But then also I actually like the idea. I actually like the fact that they're bringing it up, Lee and Swerve. Like, hey, you guys are not even ranked. You're unranked. I actually like the idea because at least it's being acknowledged. So some people can't even say, oh, they're not really using that. But at the same time, they've been acknowledging that. They've been saying it. So it's not, it's one of those things. Yeah.
So all of that to ask you this. This is where I was going. Who would you want to see Swerve and Our Glory face off against at All Out? Because we're less than a month away.
Whew. That's a good question.
Because the Bucks are more than likely going to be involved in that trios tournament finals. I don't know if they're going to go FTR Swerve.
They're not going to do that.
That leaves Dark Order, who could also be involved in that trios finals, depending on how they want to book that. So right now, at least, it would be
maybe the Acclaim. I would say maybe the Acclaim more, just because they've been on fire. They've been, and then you could do a little program within the next few weeks that would kind of build up some steam to that. So I think that would be a good matchup. I think that would be a matchup people will want to see just because of Max Caster's rap. But then also I think both teams are really good too. I think they Acclaim are pretty underrated in the ring as well. It's just that we haven't seen as much because of like the heel run, and all this stuff. So,
So the only wrinkle I would throw in there is if they did have a match or a feud, both teams are faces. How would you make that work? I'm sometimes I'm okay with a face versus face team or a heel versus heel, but I'm just wondering how we'd work that.
Yeah, there's still ways you could still go around that. A team that doesn't necessarily need to be heel, or you could have like a certain team, like especially not the Acclaim, but like more Swerve and Lee, kind of throwing stones at that. Right. Kind of like throwing like heel tact, heel comments, heel tact, doing heel tactics, but not so much like going full heel. I don't think that would make any sense. But just like one of those little things that you can still do that, kind of not really tease it, but they kind of show like, hey, these are our opponents. We can't be nice to them.
Right.
At the end of the day, we got to face them for our titles. So I think there's still a way you can still work around that. I don't think it's as difficult as some people may think, but sometimes I do understand where that comes from, where you need to have that kind of story, heel versus face, just because you want to clear a winner when it comes to that aspect. But I think there's something that could work around that.
Yeah. And Hassan Terrell joining us in the comments. What's going on, Hassan? We're talking about AEW Rampage this week, and that brings us from from Swerve in Our Glory to the cold-hearted, handsome devil, Hook. Hook comes out to do a little interview with Tony Schiavone, and Schiavone says or asks him, "Or you're keeping the FTW World Championship Open Invitational?" And Hook says yes, he will be doing that. He will be keeping the Invitational, and that's where this segment to me just goes a little bit not off the rails, but I'm just confused as to what the hell is going on.
Because, it went confusing. It was more confusing than off. Like I was like, "What?" And then I kind of instantly. Was the sad part about it is that I kind of instantly knew who that was. Don't ask me how I knew that.
Because Zach Clayton, who has shown up here and there on AEW Dark, but is a cast member of MTV's The Jersey Shore, comes out and says he wants to be the first challenger for the FTW Championship. And I'm not going to lie, Zach Clayton, he's looked all right on Dark, but I'm not certain what makes him worthy in any way, shape, or form to be challenging Hook for this championship.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the FTW belt is fake, so he's going after a fake belt, so it is what it is, and then it's gonna be easy win for Hook. So I'm for it.
it's kind of like on the nose a little bit about a reality TV show star coming out to challenge for a fake belt.
Granted, of course, of course, people are gonna say, "Oh, but wrestling script." So of course, when it comes to the titles, but the FTW belt is literally it's designed. It's not a real belt because even when Taz had it, when Taz made the belt himself, it wasn't a real belt. It was just a belt that he had because they weren't giving him the title matches that he deserved. So he was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna make my own belt." So that's the whole concept of the belt. But I don't know. To me, it's more funny than anything. I really don't find it to be a big deal. Now, if he was to challenge for the TNT title or another title, I could understand. Then I would understand everyone's gripe behind it. But at the end of the day, he's gonna get fed to Hook. Hook is gonna win, so it really doesn't matter at the end of the day.
It's just funny to me because so many people really love Hook and really love the character, the gimmick, all that kind of stuff, and he's good in the ring. So it's just kind of like, why for the first match are we starting with this? It's just like, Tony, what are you doing? But this episode of Rampage has a main event of Ari Javari taking on Orange Cassidy, and this match is happening because Ari tried to recruit Orange into his Trustbusters group, and Orange just politely declined. It's just weird to me because Ari this whole thing is that he had a trust, or he recently came into the money from the trust, and so he's going to use this money to assemble the best team in wrestling that he can. And so far his choices have been really not the best. And more importantly, I don't understand the name Trustbusters. If the whole idea is I've become really super rich because of a trust, why would I want to bust my own trust by spending all the money? I would want to hold on to it and spend it wisely. The name just doesn't, and the story and versus the name just doesn't make any sense. But I'm probably thinking about it way more than I need to for what is looking like is a job team with Parker Boudreaux, and the whole point is to make Parker Boudreaux over as some kind of a monster heel. I
think that's exactly what they're doing. That's exactly what they're doing, which I think kind of benefits Parker Boudreaux. I think depending on how they use it, depending on how they do it, right, I think it's gonna end up benefiting him, which is why they announced that he was signed. And I think that plays a part in it.
It makes me laugh though, because it's the same idea behind why Jay Lethal and Sanjay Dutt are with Satnam Singh. So it's like you're doing the same goal, different stories, sure, but the same ultimate goal. And so I'm interested to see where they're going.
It's crazy. And it's more crazy because at least Parker Bordeaux looks way more presentable.
Right.
He looks way more presentable. The other dude, he's 7 foot tall. And he's very intimidating.
Yeah.
That's the vibes I get. At least with someone like, Great Khali, right? For example, he wasn't great in the ring at all. He basically had 2-3 moves. He had the chop, he had like the choke slam, and then he had like that squishy head thing, right? And but they kind of made him intimidating because like the Taker, right? They had him pair up with Taker and he beat Taker. So it kind of gave him some momentum that, oh shit, this is a monster here. I'm not saying he was great, but that's the idea of what they did.
Right.
So with this guy, what they've been doing with him, like, it's like what has he really done that kind of like you want that intimidating factor and it's just not there. And at least with Parker Bordeaux, like I said, he looks presentable, he looks the part, he looks good, he looks great. I still don't know, how he is in the ring fully, but from what I've seen, I mean, hey, he's pretty decent. Some more polishing, I think he'll be fine. But he looks more presentable for this, and that's kind of like what that's you just said. Like
that's half the battle.
Yeah, like that's half the battle. But then also like what you just said about like, oh yeah, this is what they're doing with this guy. I'm like, and it's kind of telling because I mean, Jay Lethal is Jay Lethal. Sonny Dutt is he's well respected in his own right. But then you have these guys, right? You have Javari. Nobody took him seriously in WWE.
Yeah.
He had the other guy who I'm still trying to understand his character, and yet they've looked more presentable in this than they have. At least to me, they've looked more presentable to carry Parker.
Yeah. And from Twitch, we have RK Shuttleworth saying, a lot of us don't know why Tony Khan would book certain things, although he has his reasons, I guess. And then adding, pairing these wrestlers with veterans, I guess, is supposed to help these guys who aren't naturally character guys. Exactly, yeah. That is 100% the point for Satnam and 100% the point for Parker. I mean, and to Josh's point, I will say that Satnam is being set up more for success based off of who his veterans are versus Parker, who does not have that much going for him.
He doesn't have much going for him, and then he's the one that looks better compared to the other guy.
Yeah,
so what does that tell you?
But
that probably
kind of the reason why they paired it up that way. They figured Sasha.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah,
that could be. But then part of it too is remember, like they didn't have Parker. So who's to say like, hey, maybe if Parker was available at that time, he probably would have been their guy, and he probably would look better. He probably would look better. But I think right now, I mean, he looks presentable. So that's half, like you said, it's half the battle. And we just got to see where it goes from here when it comes to that.
And Parker is ringside for this match against Orange Cassidy. And it started off absolutely hilarious because Ari says, I'm going to give you one last chance, Orange. Just let me pin you and join the Trustbusters and everything's going to be great. And Orange says, yeah, sure, why not? And he lays down for Javari. And as soon as Javari goes to pin him, Orange just rolls a little bit to the side. And then Javari goes to pin him again, and Orange just rolls a little bit to the side. And Javari is like, this son of a bitch. He tricked me. And so we have the match between the two, and it feels like, I don't want to say classic, but more of a standard Javari not standard Orange match where Orange is trying to use his speed, his agility to frustrate his opponent and get around different moves that are happening. And Javari, the other Orange's opponent, is just like, why can't I keep this guy down? And throughout the course of the match, this is just the story that's being told. And I got to say, this match was pretty good from that perspective, but it just was like it very similar to the opening match. There was no way for me to believe that Ari Javari was going to beat Orange Cassidy in this match. Orange Cassidy has faced off against Will Ospreay. Orange Cassidy has been in a triple threat for the world title. Like, as much as Cassidy is a bit of a joke gimmick and character, he has a lot of feats in AEW and a lot of accomplishments. So it just was like, there's no way for me to believe that Davari is gonna win this match. And of course, after 12 minutes of this match, Orange Cassidy pulls off the win and pins Davari. We see best friends getting involved outside of the ring with Parker and Slim J. There's a fun moment where Trent is just like, yeah, I don't think I want to fight this Parker Boudreaux guy. And afterwards, we get a beatdown from Parker Boudreaux to the best friends, just taking everybody out. He's left alone in the ring with Orange Cassidy. Orange is trying to figure out how the hell he's going to take down this dude. When lo and behold, the man that Parker squashed in a minute earlier in the evening, Sonny Kiss, shows up. But in a cruel twist of fate, Sonny Kiss turns on Orange Cassidy, which was just kind of out from left field because they never really told us in the past that Sonny Kiss and Orange Cassidy had that great of a friendship or a relationship or anything like that. And Sonny Kiss joins the Trustbusters, which, as you saw, was our thumbnail because it is the biggest story coming out of Rampage. So Davari continues to build his faction. He didn't get Orange, but I guess he's going to have to settle for Sonny Kiss. Josh, I wanted to know your thoughts on the match. I mean, like, it seems just to me, like I said, a standard kind of Orange Cassidy match, but more the building of this faction, and to me, the kind of, hopefully, the replacement of Hardy Family Office, Andrade Family Office with the Trustbusters kind of job squad.
I think you said the match was pretty standard, nothing crazy. Just showcasing Orange Cassidy again. Davari, I mean, I don't think he's bad. It's just that he's just not appealing to the crowd. So it's not like, I don't think he's bad. I just don't think he's great either. He's just like there in the middle. He's just he's like, right there. There's a bar, has a bar. You want to be like this high, this low.
Yeah.
He's like right there. He's I guess like maybe right here, definitely not here. At least to me, he's just there. Like, so, in regards to like the stable thing, I mean, like I said, I think it's fine just because, they've been showcasing in ROH as well. So,
yeah,
that's kind of fine, I guess. Like if you want a team, same thing for Ring of Honor, like you said, like a jobber squad, that would work well too for a Ring of Honor. The Sonny Kiss thing was just random as hell. I'm like, you got squashed and then you just joined the same people that you pretty much got squashed by. Okay, okay, cool, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know if I necessarily understand the building of the faction other than to be this kind of job squad. So it feels weird to me. I'm not sure exactly what is I guess if you can't beat them, join them, I suppose. But
yeah, maybe there was that. But like you said, I think the stable itself is gonna make Parker look good because if Parker looks like the monster heel that he's supposed to be, and he's the one that gets the wins, it's just gonna make him look even better.
So I don't know. To me, I kind of want to give our Jericho Rampage Face Award of the Week to Sonny Kiss for getting the shit beaten out of you by Parker Boudreaux, and then saying, "Well, I guess I'll have to settle for being in this group." Did you have another nominee for the Jericho Rampage Face of the Week?
I'm going Sonny Kiss. How you get jobbed in a minute and then you get jobbed in a minute and then you just join the people that just beat you up.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me. I'm like, okay, come on, what are we doing here? And it's kind of annoying because this episode of Rampage felt like a big step down to me after the past couple episodes that we've had that were really good. We started off amazing with that Bryan Danielson Garcia promo and that back and forth, and Bryan grabbing him by the chin and Garcia being like, "Don't touch me, man! Like, don't put your hands on me." And then from there, just kind of just slowly went down and down and down. Hopefully next week they'll be able to pick things back up with Rampage, because they got to use Rampage to the best of their ability to build towards All Out, and we've got a lot of feuds to figure out before we get to All Out. So hopefully we'll. Oh wait, no, this reminds me. So do you think that we're gonna get Wardlow versus Jay Lethal again at All Out?
I would hope not. I'm just being honest, just because I'm like, he already lost. So like, what are you gonna do? Why are you gonna run this back again? Like, what's the point of that? Like,
I hope we don't get a 6-man tag match. That would be almost worse to me. I would feel so bad for FTR and Wardlow. I'm like, why would you guys like?
Oh God, I didn't even think about that.
It's just,
unless.
Arguably, AEW's like biggest or second biggest pay-per-view, if you want to say Double or Nothing is their biggest, and you guys are up against Lethal, Singh, and Sanjay Dutt.
I would hope not, but at the same time, it's like, it's like, who would FTR really face? You know what I mean? Unless they go with FTR versus Jay Lethal and Dutt. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like.
And then Satnam Singh gets the title shot against Wardlow. Come on.
I'll quit.
RK Shuttleworth saying some of the turns haven't totally made sense to me, like Hobbs attacking Starks out of nowhere. So, like, the attack makes sense for Starks and Hobbs, because Starks was saying in the promo, and he had kind of been saying a little bit more over the past few weeks beforehand, I was the one who did this. It was me. People didn't believe in me.
Yeah.
People didn't believe in us.
Yeah.
Well, we need to hear that from Hobbs. We need Hobbs to point that out.
Yeah. So, the turn, looking on hindsight, I like the turn just because, like, one, it was random, like, oh, shit. And I had mixed emotions about it just because I'm like, damn, they just split up a great tag team. They were really great together. But at the same time, if you think about it, Ricky Starks cut a super babyface promo. So you kind of understand why that happened as well. And then if you actually hear what he said, kind of makes sense why he turned on him. So,
yeah. Well, guys, we want to thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Rampage Wrap-Up. Remember to follow this Twitch channel. Follow us on YouTube. We have our Patreon. We have our Pro Wrestling Tees stores. We have THH Sports, where we cover football, basketball, baseball, and so much more. Josh, are you feeling better about the Yankees as we get further and further in the season?
No.
Their ability to bounce back.
No, it's just that they have to figure out their bullpen. I think that's been not only the hitting, but it's been their bullpen, because minus last night, the last two games they lost was because the bullpen blew it. So they have to figure that out. Boone just needs to make some little changes, make a little adjustments. Take Holmes out of the closer role, put Chapman back in the closer role, because he's been killing it again. Or go by closer by committee. Go with the hot hand. So, I don't know. We'll see. Yankees are still leading their division, so I'm not too worried about that, because all the other teams kind of been slacking as well. So, we'll see what happens.
Are you guys doing the watch along for Yankees Red Sox tonight?
I have no idea. I haven't been spoken to about it since last night. So,
well, either way, guys, consider that a tease for the content that you guys will be getting on THH Sports. And once again, we want to thank you for tuning into this week's episode. So for myself, Josh, tell the people where they can find you and find the amazing artwork that Claudio shared.
JM Punk 321, Twitter and Instagram. True Heat YouTube channel every Mondays, every Wednesday, and every weekend here.
And guys, you can catch me on Dark Power covering AEW Dark, Dark Elevation, and NWA Power, and of course here on Rampage Wrap-Up. So for myself, for the True Draw Josh, this has been episode 8 of Rampage Wrap-Up, covering the stunning betrayal by Sonny Kiss on Orange Cassidy, who did not see it coming because he didn't know that Sonny Kiss had the ability to betray him because he didn't really know they were friends to begin with. So until next time, take care of yourselves and each other, and we'll catch you guys later.